Right, and here we are on the ex-account of Dr. Louise Raw. As you can see here, she's a very highly respected and reputable source of information. She's a highly educated individual with a lot of contacts. She is a stand-up for racism advocate. She stands up for what is right, has a very high moral standing, and maybe it's because she's got good morals, maybe it's because she's a woman who outsmarts a lot of the right-wing people who think they have integrity. She gets a lot of incessant abuse from a certain level of scum, but she continues to fight on regardless, so I thoroughly encourage people to go and follow her page and keep an eye on what is going on in the world, because she is trying to make it a better place and spread awareness. Now, with that being said, since she's been getting a lot of hatred from the far right, she's posted a little list, and this list has been researched and vetted for accurate information for convicted paedophiles, rapists, serial killers, neo-Nazis, scum of the actual earth, some of whom have been released since, and others who are still sitting in prison, very thankfully. So, before we start, what do we think? 103 far-right sex offenders, including the paedophile Tommy Robinson, founded the EDL with Richard Price. You know, his best friend, Pricey, who he calls a political prisoner for being a pedo. The EDL and BNP sex offender who murdered 15-year-old Paige Shivers, Robert Ewing. We're just going to, people just going to forget about this, because we're not going to let him. So let's have a look and see if any of these names look familiar. So, Bradley Alford, EDL. Possession of indecent photos of children, attempting to meet a child, inciting a child to send sexual images, inciting a child to engage in sexual intercourse. Jesus Christ. Christopher Allen, Scottish Defence League, sexual contact with a 13-year-old girl. That's the first two. Luke Atkinson, EDL and UKIP, convicted paedophile. Luca Benicasa, the Führerkrieg Division, convicted terrorist and paedophile. Robert Bennett, BNP rapist. Alan Bolter, Britain First supporter, attempted to meet a 13-year-old child following a sexual grooming, jailed for 20 months. That's all he got, 20 months. And people have the audacity to sit there and tell me that the prison system doesn't need sourcing, doesn't need restructuring entirely. 20 months. I'd call for his head fucking taken off. James Boyd, neo-Nazi and violent serial abuser of women. Assaulted 5 partners, 2 of whom were underage. Jesus. John Broomfield, EDL, 20 counts of making indecent images of children. Dean Chambers, BNP, Britain First, EDL, found guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault against vulnerable adults, jailed for 5 years. 5 years, is that it? Oh look, Billy Charlton, EDL, associate of Robinson, shared illegal image of child forced to perform sex act with animal. Jesus! Vincent Charlton, neo-Nazi terrorist and paedophile, child abuse images. Oh, fuck, this is just... We're not even halfway down. Michael Coates, or Coates, EDL, pleaded guilty to 8 charges of indecent assault and 2 of attempted rape of a teenage girl. Bruce Caldwell, EDL, jailed for grooming vulnerable 15-year-old girl. Peter Cloverfield, NF and KKK paedophile groomed a 3-year-old. Jesus. That is nuts. Michael Cohen, NF member, tens of thousands of indecent images of children. Michael Coyle, BNP and NF election candidate, raped woman and attempted to rape her daughter. Fuck. Carl Davis, member of System Resistance Network, jailed for planning a mass murder and possession of indecent child abuse images, jailed for 16 years. Is that it? Ian Davidson, far-right terrorist, child abuse images. Jack Denny, reform candidate, indecent images of children. Yes, that Jack Denny. Gareth Dewhurst, EDL, convicted of helping Robert Ewing dispose of body of Paige Shivers. Jesus. Edgar Didzoulas, 2024 Southport rioter, previous convictions for sexual assault, battery, intentional strangulation. Concerned parent, eh? Stephen Donovan, racist terrorist, extreme pornography. Alan Thomas Ellis, 18-month community order for sending indecent text to a teenage girl. 18 months community order, is that it? Peter Entwistle, local UKIP chairman, child groomer, 200,000 images, indecent image. UKIP, Nick Tenconi. Robert Ewing, EDL member, convicted of the murder of Paige Shivers, 15, who he had been sexually abused and other sexual crimes against children, who, if I'm not mistaken, has since died. Ryan Fleming, member of National Action, jailed for sexual assault of 14-year-old, second sexual conviction, jailed again in February 2021 for breaching sexual harm prevention order. Surge, Simon Foster, National Action, paedophile and terrorist. Barry Fradley, National Front, NF, Combat 18, BMP, rapist. Darren Francis, jailed for multiple sex offences and degrading physical abuse of his then partner. Christopher Gamblin, Britain First, jailed for 21 months for attempting to meet a child after grooming and attempting to incite a child to engage in sexual activity. Warren Gilchrist, Britain First, 2024 writer who chanted "Save our kids" when the judge called rank hypocrisy given his 31 convictions for child sex abuse against under 13s. Concerned parent, eh? And these paedophiles aren't part of these right-wing protests who are chanting "Save our kids", no? Right. Martin Gillard, member of National Front, White Nationalist Party and Britain's People's Party, possessed nail bombs, knives and firearms, hoping to start a race war, pleaded guilty to 10 child pornography offences. Jesus. Peter Gillett, multiple rapes of teenager along with indecent assault and assault that caused ABH, child cruelty and gross indecency towards a boy between 8 and 15, and indecent assault against a girl between ages 13 and 15, jailed for 18 years. Jesus. Fucking scumbag. Jordan Goodwood Hagen, photographed with Tommy Robinson. Shock. Publicised and attended Robinson's Telford Save the Children demos, indefinite hospital order for 2011 for serious sexual offence. Indefinite hospital order. Jasper Goff, Britain First, admitted sexual assault, jailed for 3 years. 3 years. How are these crimes not like life? Like Daniel Grant, EDL, supports a history of sexual offences, indefinite sentence for other violent crimes. Ben Hannum, serving police officer, found guilty of membership of National Action, possession of terrorist documents, and indecent image of a child. Serving police officer. Daniel Harris, racially aggravated offences, terrorist and paedophile. Derek Decker Heggie, fundraiser and supporter of Tom Robinson, in prison for racially aggravated posts, including calling Muslims paedophiles. In 2024, Heggie has 32 previous convictions, including sexual offence. Nice. What is going on? What is going on? Nigel Hesmondhallock, BNP member, was jailed for possession of child porn. Dale Hewitt, EDL, jailed for a decade for sexually abusing and drugging underage girls. Richard Hindle, BNP member, jailed for sexual activity with 14-year-old girls. You know, the same BNP that Paul Golding's in charge of right now? Conrad Howarth, terrorism and extreme porn offences. Daniel Hughes, EDL child rapist. How are these people even breathing? Luke Hunter, Fuhrer Division, prescribed neo-Nazi group, charged in 2024 terror offences and making child abuse images. Kane Hutchinson, aka Mason Maxwell, scene number 62, EDL jailed for sexual assaults on teenage boys. Ryan Jackson, far-right extremist, extreme child abuse images. Kevin Jenkins, EDL supporter, convicted of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old schoolgirl. Ryan Johnson, EDL, sex activity with a child. You know, the same EDL that was for saving children? Right, yeah. Elliot Jones, EDL member who called himself the anti-pedo squad and tried to entrap and blackmail a paedophile despite his own previous child sex offence conviction, trying to blackmail a child into sexual activity. And there we have it. Murphy Jones, North Wales Alliance, heard about them. Combined ex-forces jailed for rape, attempted rape and indecent assault. Sean Jones, Liverpool Scouse nationalist, grooming and raping a 12-year-old girl. Fucking Christ. Gerald Kendrick, far-right supporter, Islamophobe, raped 2 young boys and sexually abused 4 other children, jailed for 18 years. 18 years. So he's still going to have plenty of his life to live, even though it should be forfeited. Michael Kinner, detains and sexually abused 13-year-old in his home. Wayne Kirby, EDL, Tommy Robinson supporting, convicted rapist, climbed in through a window, raped a woman in a bed next to her baby. Oh God, I remember reading that article as well. Jesus. Aaron Knight, UKIP aide, child grooming and sexual assault. Darren Lynchby, EDL, jailed for sexual assault of 2 women in Leicester Town Centre. Andrew Leake, deceased. Racist, Tommy Robinson fan who viewed child abuse images before attacking an immigration centre. Thomas Lynch, far-right terrorist, child abuse images. Gavin Least, BNP, political candidate, jailed for possessing and distributing child pornography. Scott Mason, far-right terrorism and extreme pornography offences. Terry Morgan, EDL, drugged and raped 17-year-old girl, jailed for 7 years. Mason Maxwell, Sean Kane Hutchison. Conor McGregor, MMA fighter, darling of the far right, spoken on and being at war over immigration, told Brazilian opponent another age he would invade his flavor on horseback and kill anyone who wasn't fit to work. Investigated for hate crime over 2024 riots. In November 2024, Nikita Hand won her civil case accusing him of rape. I didn't know that. Lee McMillan, well-known EDL member, jailed for 17 years for grooming and child sexual abuse. There you go. Michael McQueenie, EDL, jailed for the rape of a 14-year-old girl with learning difficulties. Thomas Medler, 2024 Bristol rioter, previous conviction for sexual activity and sexual assault of 2 girls under 16, plus breach of sexual harm prevention order. John Merritt, Reform UK supporter, jailed for 8 years for historic rapes of 2 boys aged 8 and 9. 8 years, that's all that monster's getting. Gareth Metcalf, 2024 Southport rioter, and Tommy Robinson supporter, previous convictions for sexual assault. Starting to see a bit of a pattern here, aren't you? Joe Metcalf, far-right terrorism offences, serial rapist, coercive control of a teenage girl. Jaden Milne, patriotic alternative, sexual assault of 4 girls aged 11 to 19. Peter Moore, neo-Nazi serial killer whose whole life term in 1996 for 4 brutal murders and the sting of other attacks. Jesus. Brett Moses, EDL, pleaded guilty to sexual grooming. Gareth Norman, BNP organiser, rape of 7-year-old and other CSA offences. Jesus. Paul O'Brien, Blood and Honour, and NF, Blood and Honour, I don't know about them, supporting rapist. Right. He admitted offences of rape, sexual assault, and assault by penetration, jailed for 9 years. Callum Parslow, white supremacist who tried to murder asylum seeker whilst on bail for targeting black women with racist and sexual messages online. And these scum still breathe. Stephen Payne, SDL supporter, groomed a 13-year-old girl. Richard Price, founding member of the EDL and close friend of Tom Robinson, who claimed the police had stitched Pricey up after obscene images of child abuse were found on his computer. Even after Price was placed on the sex offender register for downloading decent images, the EDL called him a hero. Yep, and those Facebook posts and tweets are still there. Jack Renshaw, well-known former BNP member and National Action activist, jailed for grooming 2 teenage boys, who received 20 years for the plot to murder a Labour MP. Now, the plot to murder someone, okay, you deserve a number of years in prison. The plot to murder someone, raping of a child, why is rape of a child less than the plot to murder someone? Specifically, a politician. No, I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying that someone going out to plot to murder someone is okay. What on earth is going on in our judiciary system to think that people can just sexually assault children, can even rape children, and they'll get less than 20 years? What is that? What is that? Jack Robinson, 20, of Portsmouth, convicted in 2024 of terrorist offences and attempting to make a firearm, and 810 indecent images of children, had a collection of Nazi memorabilia and white supremacist material. Andrew Rogers, DFLA member, who pleaded guilty to sexual communication with a child. Michael Rolls, Britain First, jailed for 18 years for the rape of a girl under the age of 13, the attempted rape of a girl under the age of 13, indecent assault, and 12 other similar offences against children. Roderick Rowley, BNP candidate, jailed for 15 months after sending obscene images involving children. Jason Rutter, UKIP candidate, child abuse images. Jesus. Mark Riley, Britain First, jailed for 13 years after being found guilty of 6 counts of indecent assault, 7 of sexual activity with a child, 1 of assault by penetration, and 2 of attempted rape. Jesus. No wonder people like that, Ashley, whatever her name is, who's Britain First, is just going absolutely nuts online and trying to like deflect all the time. It's disgusting. Ryan Schofield, guilty of various sexual assault charges against women. Axel Scott, neo-Nazi, multiple CSA. James Shand, patriotic alternative member, arranged to meet a 13-year-old girl for sex. Simon Shepherd, BNP, Holocaust denier, tried to trick 4 girls into sexual activity. Ian Surrey, BNP organiser, pleaded guilty to possessing 138 illegal images of child sex abuse. Mark Archie Slayman, EDL member, kidnapped and attempted rape of a 10-year-old. Oh, the EDL had no problems. Oh, it got infiltrated later. James Andrew Swindlehurst, South Yorkshire Casuals, EDL, jailed for 20 years for counts of rape and indecent assault of a child. Jack Chorzeski, far-right terrorist, also jailed for downloading videos, photos and animations depicting child rape, incest and sexual intercourse with a corpse. Jesus wept. Arthur Misty Thackeray, the former chairman of UKIP in Scotland, pled guilty to 9 charges of intentionally sending or directing sexual verbal communication. This is truly astounding, really is. Carl Toffs, EDL supporter from Luton, shock. Downloaded thousands of images of children being abused. Unnamed 17-year-old, obviously because underage, found guilty of 5 counts of sexually touching a girl under the age of 13, also guilty of terrorism offences. Harry Vaughan, National Action, posted on far-right website Fascist Forge, leading to terrorism investigation during which child porn was found. Trevor Vincent, Britain First supporter, filmed himself sexually assaulting a 3-year-old, jailed for 21 years. Andrew Wells, BNP member, jailed for sexual activity with 14-year-old girls. Paul Whiteside, an EDL organiser who admitted the charge of child abduction. Mark Wolf, neo-Nazi who applied terrorist attacks and made child abuse images. Matthew Woodward, EDL member and activist, pled guilty to 16 offences of indecent images of children. Mason Yates, far-right terrorism and extreme pornography. X, unnamed MI5 informant, revealed in February 2025 as a violent neo-Nazi who abused multiple women, attacking one with a machete and threatened to sexually abuse children. Jesus wept. And the sources there. Right, what the sources? Malatesta and at PIB 1975, Twitter, far-right criminals at EDL criminals, Unite Against Fascism, Searchlight Magazine, Hope Not Hate, local and national media reports, Louise Raw, Survivors Against Fascism, May 2025. And there we have it, guys. That is just one set of just utter scum of the earth. I'm sure, regardless of where you lean, right or left, you will not agree with any single one of what those people have done. And surely, by any stretch of the means, just to think every single one of those people needs to be locked up for the rest of their lives. I mean, Jesus wept. I mean, some of these people are actually out and about. It's fucking disgusting.